All right. The new year is officially, or the second half of the year is officially rolling. It's the second now. But today we're talking about 48 hours, they say, to full functioning CDK, EV prices below Tesla, and an office parody that everybody's talking about in the industry. Some old friends of ours.
And outside the industry. Man.
Heck yeah.
Everybody.
Like the marketing industry is talking about. The ad industry is talking about, not the dealership, auto industry. Yeah, obviously.
Wow.
It's fun. It's fun to celebrate a winner. We'll talk about it a little bit later in the show. But I mean, hey, dude, welcome to the second half of the year. Started yesterday. You and I were both in like different cities and started the second half of the year on the hunt.
We were moving. Yeah, I did. Yeah. Speaking of not winning, I had the unfortunate disposition of having to watch the U.S. men's national team. That's soccer. For those that don't know, fall to Uruguay, get kicked out of Copa America. The ref was trash. That's the only way that I have to describe that. And
tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, so I'm here. Welcome back to the industry.
This morning, I looked up the game this morning just to see like what kind of demeanor Kyle would be in. So yeah, I mean, pretty good. Not considering all things.
Considering I'm
by
still
himself
smiling.
In a hotel room. Yeah.
I slept and I got coffee. Things are better a little bit.
Another day. Hey, we released a great episode of our Auto Collabs podcast yesterday or 2 days ago with John Fitzpatrick. I was on a road trip yesterday, so I was listening through some of the like Asoducon sessions. And I got to tell you, this is such a fun podcast episode to listen to because we talk a lot about coaching youth sports and how it like kind of pulls into the industry, and John's passion really came through. So if you've never checked out that podcast, you should. It's myself, Kyle, Michael Cirillo, and we invite a guest, talk about the what makes them tick, and then like some topics that are really clutch to the industry. You can get it by searching
that podcast
Auto
is a really good one.
Collabs.
Auto Collabs.
We're about to start a youth sports podcast after that one.
Right after that. Yeah, it's gonna be all about soccer, no baseball.
No baseball, just soccer. All right, let's talk about some news. Good news coming out of CDK Global. They expect their DMS to be fully restored, their words, not ours, by July 4th. So that's between tomorrow and the next day, following the cyber attacks, obviously, that disrupted operations starting way back on July 19th. That's not that far ago, but it feels like forever ago because it's been a long couple of weeks. They basically have been restoring service in phases with a lot of dealers already back online. As of yesterday, Beyer Auto Group's CDK system came back online unexpectedly. So I guess someone was just trying to log in and they're like, oh, it works, which helped ease some anxiety. But obviously, the core system's restored. Their CRM and third-party integrations are still not functional, causing some continual challenges. But now employees are starting to focus on the monumental task of recording all the deals and the service orders that were manually entered during the outage. Here's a quote from the GM. Oh, what is his first name? Oh, it's not in here.
John Altman.
John Altman. He said, there's some exasperation. I can see it on their faces. They're just looking at this monumental task, but at least they know where we are at this point. Basically, the disruption expected to cause a 10% drop in Q2 earnings per share for some major auto dealer groups, adding up to about $1 billion. CDK has also said, though, they've restored all their customer care channels, working to bring other applications like the CRM back online. But they said customers can call, chat, submit e-cases, and everything's firing and online for that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
almost there.
I got an email forwarded to me yesterday. It looked like they were basically turning on 50 dealers per hour. So, you do the math, that's like 3,600 dealers by Thursday. So they're definitely going to have to pace that up over the next couple of days. I also got a text yesterday morning from actually a BDC manager at a Mercedes store that was like, this is the Monday that I've always wanted, right? Like it's like that type of joy, like being able to walk in and log in to the service scheduler and all that.
New appreciation.
That's pretty fun. Yeah, you never know what you lost until
it's gone. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Kudos to CDK for getting that stuff back online. I think by the end of the week, it'll be a distant memory. At some level, there's definitely some there's some legal cases starting to get sprinkled out there.
Yeah, there's
So
gonna
we'll
be a
see
couple
what the
reminders of
residual
this
is.
one. Yeah, without a doubt. Speaking of reminders,
Segue.
you're like, how are we gonna do this? Back in 2023, this is the first time this has happened since then, but automakers have cut electric vehicle prices to a level below Tesla's average. So now all the other EV makers, you take the average together, cheaper than Tesla's. This is driven obviously by increased competition and market demands. Average transaction of an EV, including Tesla, was $55,235 in April, which is $433 less than Tesla's average price. The trend continued in May with the industry average EV price being $56,648. So it is on its way down. Tesla's price cuts obviously influencing the market, leading to an average discount of 12.4% on EVs in May. Despite all the prices and the lower prices, Tesla registrations have still keep falling. Fell 17% in April, while EV registrations, excluding Tesla, grew 69%.
Up and to the right.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Used EV sales also very, very busy. We know a lot of people that are just in the used EV business, growing 84% in May as declining prices. The federal tax credit on used EVs are kicking in. Here's a quote from Jeremy Robb, Senior Director of Economic and Industry Insights for Cox Automotive, says there are a lot of consumers that are willing to go out there and try an EV now because it's an affordable vehicle for them.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and I mean, you look at even just some of our friends like Jimmy Douglas, John Foley, Alex Lawrence, they're out there in the market broadly. Recurrent is on Capitol Hill talking about the used EVs and the viability of them. Like, there is a pop cultural narrative that is still very, very present toward EVs. And when you look at just the volume of EVs coming into the used car market, especially from like the Hertz stuff where they're offloading a whole bunch of these vehicles, it just puts a vehicle at an extremely affordable price point that you haven't seen in the past. It might look like a high price point at $56,000 average for the EVs, but that means that they're balanced on either side of that.
Yeah, because there's some really expensive ones out there.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah.
Like Cybertrucks, Model X's, Lucids. Like, there's a lot of expensive EVs, $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 EVs, which means there are $35,000 EVs out there.
Yep.
Let's get it.
Speaking of being out there.
Segue.
This one just warms my heart.
Our wonderful friends have captured the hearts and attention of millions. Mohawk Chevrolet in upstate New York has gained viral fame recently with a mockumentary TikTok series inspired by none other than The Office. They're calling it The Dealership, no doubt, featuring a bit of real life dealership antics. The series is starred by creators Grace Kerber and Ben Bushin, and it began with a video about hiding tiny ducks around the office, which went viral with nearly 2 million views for the 5th episode. And now all of the episodes are getting a whole bunch of views. They're created pretty quickly with like a very fast writing, shooting, editing, trying to just turn around like the quick ideas. We know the team leader there, Nathaniel Greklick, and they have just had a whole bunch of fun. And Grace, I think, is actually absolutely headed for Hollywood at some point. Her quote is, there are probably some big and funny personalities that you work with, so just wing it and see what happens, is her point. It's like, hey, look, these people are probably all around you. You just got to know where to look. We've actually got a clip of one that we wanted to share because it's just too good not to.
All right, let's see it.
Grace, here's a little list of vehicles we got to shoot.
Oh, sweet. Trailblazer, all right. I can drive the 2500. A lot of people tell me that the truck was invented just so I could drive it. This girl. 1500s, 2500s, 3500s, Sylvies, Colorados, all the Rados.
Now, if you're listening, she's struggling to even get in the car.
Yes, you do. I'm looking right at it. Keep going.
Today we're going off location, shooting some cars for some commercials coming up this month, and I look at the list, I see 2500, and I'm like, yep, dibs, that's Grace's, that's mine.
Back it up.
Look back there.
You got like a lot of room.
I don't know, I think I'm gonna hit that truck.
So the punchline to this is at the end, she's like, I think I'm going to get a truck. It's typical Michael Scott.
It's
right?
unbelievable.
It's Michael Scott.
She is
she's heading for Saturday. She's heading for SNL. I think one of the biggest things in because this story has been picked up by Business Insider. It was an outage this morning, right? So a lot of people are looking. There are a lot of people in automotive doing creative marketing. And Mohawk has been on the hunt for a long time. Like this is not one of those stories where they just got lucky. If you look at Nathaniel Greklick's been leading this team for a long time, and they put out an insane amount of content. They've tried an immeasurable amount of things, and they just keep swinging. And they weren't even expecting this to be right. It's just another day at the office, no pun intended, for them, right? But to script, shoot, edit this all in one day is kind of like how people in the car business know how to do it, right? Like
it's
you get
scrappy,
it done.
But it this is what we have to remember is this is a consistent pursuit over years. I mean, 4 or 5 years, I think,
absolutely,
at this point, that this team has been pushing out content, trying new things. And I think that anything worth doing is worth doing over a long amount of time. And so kudos to the team there. Kudos to Andy and the leadership at giving this team just the freedom to create and the runway. It's amazing.
Yeah. And we're excited. We're still wrapping up the episode, but just turns out that More Than Cars episode 4, if you don't know about it, go to morethancars.tv. It's our docuseries about dealerships. Episode 4 is actually at Mohawk Chevrolet.
Oh,
so the timing of that couldn't have been any better. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes with us here today. And look, at the end of the day, the car business is the people business, the ones you work with, the ones you serve. So go out there, invest in the people, and just watch what happens.